All right, it's the move of the day. That brings us to the trade of the day. I want to head down to the CME because Scott Bauer is with us. He's the CEO of Prosper Trading Academy. And Scott, I can feel it. I know you're jacked up today because we love talking Bitcoin with you. And it's December all over again. So how do you approach it? Is it different? Is it the same?
Man, my head is spinning as well as, other people that are involved in this space. And, everyone's always has to be concerned that this is December of 2017 all over again, right? I mean, what an incredible run. Oliver, it was just literally 6 or 7 weeks ago that we had this exact conversation. You said, Scott, when are you getting in? And I said, I want to see it come back up through 5,500. 5,500 when to get in. Got in. You said, when you getting out? I said 7,000. Got out. And now we're approaching 14,000. So what's behind it? It is incredible. It's a few things. One, it's some short covering. And, there's a lot of news out there about, it's fake money. It's pumped up. The volume is pumped up. But let me tell you something. The institutional amount that's out there, the shorts actually increased last week at CME futures, Bitcoin futures.
Yep.
CME Bitcoin future in institutional shorts increased 14% last week. So this new volume, and the volume here at CME is off the charts. Today it's going to approach 20,000 contracts. It's coming from the retail side, which means people are getting involved again. People are getting invested again. Whether it's short covering or getting in to hop on, it's there. The volume is there.
Now, this becomes really interesting, Scott, and we're going to talk about this later on with another guest that's involved in the space. And I think what's really compelling is this kind of lack of narrative where it started off with the Facebook thing and, people are excited. It's a validation. Well, it also might be competition to some extent if you view the currency, viewpoint on crypto. But, I'm moving past that. I think to your point about whether it is speculators and just average people buying in again, or if it's institutional, the Wall Street Journal basically went through the same data that you're discussing here from CFTC, and it's almost as if institutions got short, like right at the exact wrong time, and now there's this epic squeeze going on that may be coming from a different type of motive than maybe what happened last year.
Listen, I have no question whatsoever that there is a squeeze going on. Now, does that mean we're going to hit 14,000 or 15 or 16 and then implode again? No, I don't think so. I don't think we're going to see as rapid of a decline, if we get that decline, as what we saw, a year and a half ago or so. Because, yes, there's headlines about the adoption, so people feel more comfortable about it. But when you really break it down, Oliver, not only, the Facebook Libra big announcement, but you've got other major companies out there. We're talking international huge companies adopting this thing. You've got Coinbase that had an agreement with Visa to now accepting payments through Bitcoin. You've got Square now accepting deposits. So you're starting to see adoption come into mainstream. Is it, can you go down to the local cash station yet and use it yet? No, but I think people are now actually seeing, okay, maybe there's a light at the end of the tunnel for what everybody talked about, how you use the blockchain and how this can be adapted into everyday lifestyle. That is the goal here. If and when Bitcoin or any other cryptocurrency ever gets adopted into a form of payment or a form of exchange that you and I and everybody else could use, like how we use our Apple Pay or how we use Venmo or whatever, then it's lights out. I don't know that day ever comes, but man, it's fun being along for the ride. So
speaking of that ride, Scott, where does that leave you as a trader when you look at this? Do you try and get in the way of this train? Or on the one hand, if one does view this as an exponential run-up that can't sustain, obviously that's been a huge short opportunity in the past, but we also know from the past that when things start going parabolic or exponential, it's virtually impossible to know when that stops. Is there a way to find timing? Is there a way? How do you approach it?
Okay, so anybody that thinks that they can time this thing,
good luck, pal.
It's luck. It's luck, exactly. There's no question it's luck. What I find really interesting about it this time, though, is, typically Bitcoin has taken up somewhere around 50% of the overall crypto space, maybe 52, 54% at its peaks. It's now 61%, which means a lot of these altcoins, and even the bigger ones like a Litecoin and Ethereum, coins like that, they are not keeping up with this.
We got to be careful because Litecoin's actually ahead of it from the bottom this year. But I know what you're saying, Scott, because all the other stuff is way behind for the most part.
Exactly. So that to me is the interesting thing here, meaning what does this mean for crypto going forward? Does it mean that it's Bitcoin and Bitcoin alone? Does it mean that all the rest of these other altcoins, the thousands and thousands of them, we are finally going to get weeded out to maybe 2, 3, or 4 of the big ones? Something's brewing there. I don't know what the answer is yet, but something is brewing there, and it's certainly, looking at the Bitcoin dominance in the crypto space here, something that is well worth taking a look at and understanding and trying to get into.
Scott, before I let you go, the one thing I'm going to ask our other guests on this topic is, on the one hand, the idea that maybe these altcoins are giving way to a concentration into Bitcoin and, the winner being chosen. I think it's a very interesting thing, given how many people said this day would come. At the same time, though, is there an argument where if you step back and view crypto as an asset class, and if you view it as a risky asset class, I can't ignore the kind of similarities between saying, okay, here's an asset class with one leader, Bitcoin, but when you look across the market for it, one could argue actually the altcoin lack of participation might show asset class breadth that is fairly weak. So if you were to view this in stocks, you'd say, okay, the S&P is making a new high and it's on this move, but a lot of people will look at breadth. You know what I mean? So,
oh, no, absolutely.
So tell me what you think about that.
Make a big parallel there, no question about it. And that to me is 6 months from now, a year from now, we're going to look back and say, what was it? Was it because everybody wanted the hard asset of Bitcoin, or did they really want the overall market space? Did they want the technology? Did they want the blockchain? And we don't know yet. I don't know yet. However, it certainly looks to me, with this big breakaway from Bitcoin from the rest of the space here, that at least in the short run here, that ride is going to continue. When I say ride, I'm not saying necessarily Bitcoin going to 14, 15, 16, but I'm saying the dominance in the crypto market space.
Hey, it's a good day when I give you 2 last questions. Scott, one more real quickly. Many were tying the Bitcoin move into the gold move. The timing of the moves are the same, but as I pointed out at the top of the show, wildly different in terms of response. Do you buy this argument they're both targeting the same solution to, a softer dollar, monetary policy, that stuff?
Not at all. Bitcoin at this point in crypto, it's way too speculative at this point. So it's nice to think about that, okay, maybe that solves the issue down the road, but I don't think anybody can say, and I don't care if you are the deepest Bitcoin bull and know everything there is to know about crypto and the blockchain and everything, there's no way to tell whether Bitcoin is going to fundamentally take over as an asset class for gold. There's just no way to tell at this point. I'm sorry. I will dispute that.
All right. I like it. Good stuff. Scott Bauer. I love it when we get to talk a little crypto in here. Scott is the CEO of Prosper Trading Academy. Nice job, Scott. We'll be right back.